Shutter speeds and frame rates come into play in a lot of different places: photography, video, and even gaming. A motion picture or video is made up of hundreds of individual still photos played in rapid succession. FPS stands for frames per second and is the number of individual images being shown each second, also known as frame rate. In video, this refers to the number of individual photos being taken by your camera to make up that video sequence. In gaming, FPS refers to the number of new images being rendered each second. Shutter speed is the duration that it takes for each image to be captured. To take a single picture, a camera must open its shutter, letting light into the sensor, and then closing it again. I like to think of it like a floodgate. While the shutter is open and the sensor is exposed, light comes into the camera, creating an image. As you might expect, more light will yield a brighter image. The shorter the period of time that your shutter is open is, the darker the image will be. With a faster shutter speed, you will also have less motion blur, which makes the image appear sharper. It can also be used as a dramatic effect or to add more edge to a scene, as was most recognizably done in Saving Private Ryan. So your shutter speed is how quickly an image is captured, and your frame rate is the number of times that is being done per second. The higher your frame rate is, the faster your shutter speed will have to be. It is recommended to set your shutter speed at twice your frame rate. The standard frame rate for filmmaking is 24 frames per second, so about 1/50th of a second shutter speed is recommended. Anything below 24 FPS and the video starts to look choppy. Generally, for gaming, you'll need a higher frame rate like 30, 48, or 60 frames per second. That's also how slow motion works. If your shot was filmed at 240 frames per second, you can play only 24 frames, then you can play only 24 of those frames every second, spreading the final duration. If your shot was filmed at 240 frames per second, you can play only 24 of those frames every second, spreading every second out to 10 seconds. And yes, that is the only line on the back of this script.